Hey guys, Youngblood Fantasy 91 here. Today we have a group discussion. I have three awesome guests. Well, I'm Youngblood Fantasy 91, obviously. And we have three special guests. Introduce yourselves, you wonderful people, you.
I'm not a guest, but I'm Ryan Renamills, and I'm cooler than you.
Right. I'm Caden Marks, and I'm cooler than Ryan.
Scarlet Otaku, cooler than all three of y'all combined. Shut your faces.
You're not cooler than Hobbs.
Yeah, nobody's cooler than me. I'm the king of this community.
I'm the bitch with the cannon. You wish you had this thing.
So, what is it? The point of this entire discussion is basically like, it's, the state of the commentary community, where it's at right now, the problems that need to be addressed, and how we can avoid the 2012 complete community crash of everything going to hell from happening again.
How about Hobbs start, since he was the one that pretty much has been in here the longest?
Yeah.
Sure, I could start. Well, as many of you probably know, I started this community. Well, actually, my roots go back to 2009. I made some commentaries. They sucked. Then I came back in 2011, and here I am today. I made several videos, actually, about the commentary community, if you can believe it, on several occasions. One video was me saying, there's a lot of stagnancy in the community and people keep embroiling themselves in stupid drama. And what has happened, I think, between, as they mentioned, 2012 to 2013, is that the commentary community became, very, very hostile. A lot of people decided not to do videos for fun, but to do videos so that way it would be like a contest to see who would be the ultimate, know-it-all. Now, far be it from me to say that I, know things, because that would mean that I sound like a know-it-all, but I feel that a lot of people around that time were like, oh my god, why are y'all making commentaries? You all sound like a bunch of doofuses, and, people got really annoyed about that, especially to the people that we commentated on, and even in the community, people just became, like I said, those that had those toxic attitudes, it just spread, and people were very disillusioned by it. I certainly was alienated by that, and as a result, a lot of people just said, look, we're done, we're tired of this toxic, these toxic, dysfunctional relationships that were appearing, so everyone just went their separate ways. And I made a video, actually, in 2013 where I said the commentary community is not dead, but rather it's dormant, and I guess my predictions were true, because there seems to be, as I said, a recent resurgence of commentators. But I think that the main reason why people were leaving was because it wasn't fun anymore. There were a lot of people that just got disillusioned by the so-called competition within the community, and they were doubly disillusioned by the criticism that was lobbed at the community, mostly by people who were ex-commentators that just felt that all of us were following this cardboard cutout attitude of being holier than thou, which obviously is a generalization of our community.
And that was actually part of the reason why I actually left. It was one of the main reasons why I left for a while after 2013, or I think it was 2014. I'm sorry to interrupt, but
no, it's okay.
I started back out in 2012, and that was right around the time when it actually started going to shit. And I got panned, like Realm said in the commentary that you, Caden, and he did on Midnight Phantom. I actually did get a lot of backlash, not because of my content, but because of me as a person. I didn't ask for people's criticism on my person. I asked for people's criticism on my content. And I believe that, I remember also that people were judging me because I was, in fact, female. And that was actually from Smugleaf, not just from Midnight Phantom. I actually remember Mr. Sir Raven saying that he was pretty pissed off about it, and he actually got into a conversation with somebody else that said that, I was kind of overrated because I was a girl. And it was ridiculous. And
to clarify, was Smugleaf the one criticizing you for being a girl?
Yes.
Oh.
Just criticizing me for being overrated because I was a girl.
Oh, okay.
Because I was a girl in the commentary community, and at that time, there were not many girls in the commentary community. Let's face it.
Yeah,
that doesn't
the gender
surprise
ratio.
me in the least. That doesn't surprise me in the least bit.
It really
Yeah.
doesn't, but at the same time, it's like, I felt like I was kind of an outcast aside from, Azu being in there, and from what I understood, from my end of the spectrum, it didn't look like she actually got a whole lot of backlash for it. She actually gave a shit about my content, thank God. She actually criticized one of the worst commentaries that I actually had put out, and that was the one on freaking Captain Recolor, which was dumb, I'm gonna admit. It was pretty dumb. But the rules that were pretty much, or quote unquote rules that were set during that time were pretty dumb as well. And like you said, Hobbs, they were following some kind of like, it was like they were just like, I don't know. They just decided that it was just dumb, and they didn't really lead and started criticizing other people just for doing commentaries. It's like, it's one thing to not like commentaries, but it's another to, bash somebody because they're a commentator.
It was also things like where people, because like from what I've really heard and from what I've seen of old commentators, when I see a lot of commentaries from 2012, they seem to like it really came off like they were making up rules as they went along. Like, oh, you can't do, this video is 4 months old. Oh, this video is this long. This video is this long. This is wrong just because. I'm just like, oh, okay, no.
That's why I believe, there shouldn't be rules. I always called them conventions, because conventions, I think, is a more open word rather than just strict rules. I personally bent all the damn rules, mainly because of the length of many of my videos and because of the way I tackled people. That was why, when I joined the commentary community, I said to myself, I'm going to be different. But, yes, a lot of people were setting up arbitrary rules. I said that in my previous commentary videos. I was like, y'all are setting up arbitrary rules. You're setting yourself up to fail. You're going to limit creativity, limit what people can do, limit what people can say. And just to add an additional postscript to the story that Scarlett was mentioning, Smugleaf, actually apologized for all that he's done and said. He mentioned that on multiple occasions.
He did.
So if Smugleaf, if you're watching this, we are not mad at you. We find your forgiving nature admirable. But around that time, people were lobbing criticisms for silly and stupid reasons. Like, I was called a pseudo-intellectual. I was called stupid. Just because there was actually one video that I made, and you know what? I used to be regretful of it, but now I can understand like where the criticism came from. I made a video called Lighten Up, period. And that video received so much hate. And and most of it was for silly reasons. The video was given hate because I saw people take, like, TOG uploaded a video where he trolled me, and I was reacting to it for fun. It wasn't just me legitimately reacting. It was me reacting because that's how I am as a person. I overreact to things deliberately. And TOG thought it was funny, so he just posted it on YouTube. A bunch of people were like, TOG, you're not funny. Youngblood, you're not funny. This is all very old. And it was a bunch of people, like, responding to each other. It was like 3 or 4 people. I won't name names, but it was like 3 or 4 people that constantly reply to each other. So I made a video that said, you all are just being, ridiculous in the comment section. And, like, that was the most dislikes I ever received on a video. Like, people were like, wow, you're overreacting. Even Junior Fan called me out. Junior Fan left, like, a really long, like, 3-paragraph essay into why my video was wrong and why I shouldn't have made it. Looking back, I guess I was slightly overreacting, but
at the same time,
but it was toxic. Sorry. You're right. So no.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Oh.
One topic I remember on the meme team live stream yesterday, or once this gets uploaded the other day, I went on this long tangent because I remember Larry asked me, "What's it like to have a fan base?" And I said, "It's a mixed bag. It's probably one of the most mixable bags ever because." There's people that appreciate you. It's good, but this goes on to another point I have. Holy crap! I do not like it when people who are fans of me or fans of others don't actually take what the person says into account ever, or they take it too much into account and create their own thought process of what the person meant instead of what they actually meant.
I would have to agree. As somebody who has a substantial subscriber base,
that's like 3,000 guys, man. Okay. There's humble and then there's lying, Hobbs. There's humble and then there's lying. That's all I'm getting at here.
substantial
He's
means a
humble,
lot.
but he's lying about it. But at least he's being humble about it.
That's true, and that's something else I think would help out with the current community.
Right. But yeah, as somebody who has I guess a base, a base of people that follow my videos, I've been accused of that a lot of times. A lot of people that watch my content just take what I say at face value and don't think critically. I know I'm tooting my own horn, but I made a video about it called "Think for Yourself," and in it I say I urge people to think for themselves. Of course, the video could be perceived as useless because people will just agree with it, but I encourage people to not just listen and then believe immediately what they say. And in fact, a lot of the people that were disillusioned by the community kind of went after me because they saw a lot of fans agreeing with me and saying great commentary and not pointing out the flaws. And some people were like, why are all of you just why are you giving all these free passes? Like, why is this? Like, they were just like legitimately upset with that. And I didn't know how to respond other than I can't control what my fans and what people say. I understand that it's a problem, but I can't influence them that much. I could tell them in videos to not, act like a bunch of lemmings, but there's really not much I can do. But I do urge other people who do want to, explore the community and to make content just to think for yourself, think critically, and you can't.
To kind of like play off on that. I remember when Ryan and I started like talking for the first time. Ryan, from what I remember, you actually were not a fan of mine like at all. Like weren't you like told that you didn't that I was kind of like kind of an UGG person or something like that? I thought I heard that.
That was by CJ.
I just the way that some people will just like take into account that kind of thing and just believe it like right off the bat. I'm grateful that we're friends now and that we get to hang out and get to do some fun stuff together because it's like I really did like your content and to kind of like hear that like no Scarlett's nice, she's actually not that bad, just warmed my heart like a lot.
What was it? But like another thing. I brought this up in the live stream. Somebody made a commentary recently. His name was like Blaze Rush 2002. He was.
Great, we got another Blaze.
He was obviously a fan of mine. I know because he also tried to show up in the live stream, but the live stream wouldn't let him in or something. I have literally.
I know.
Did it say that he didn't have? Did it say that he did not have an invitation to go to that live stream?
I have no idea. All I know is
there were a lot of not
responds
from last night, from the other night's live stream.
Yeah,
you were part of it, Ronnie.
Zarek says he's going to try and help that next time. But like Blaze Rush 2002 was an obvious fan of mine. And I also say this because they took my commentary intro, the insane one, for their commentary, which pissed me off. And like their first criticism, their first thing right off the bat was, "Are you seriously doing a commentary on this guy?"
Oh God, I remember that.
And I remember right when he said that, I'm like, I don't like it when people are clear fans of mine, but they do the exact same things I've gotten onto other people for doing. I got onto Sonic Orbit 01 for doing that. He also the plagiarism of my intro.
Oh yeah.
It's also a thing I've gotten onto people for.
Oh my God, plagiarism! Don't get me started on plagiarism.
Oh yeah,
there's an entire rant if I remember correctly.
Oh my goodness,
yeah.
That I could go on forever about that. And but then on the other spectrum, and this was something I went on Twitter about a few times. Kyria Wave, he's not the bad fan. He's the one who got the bad treatment. When I called out Kyria Wave multiple times on Twitter and one time in a video, yes, the mistake Kyria Wave made was really dumb, and I emphasized that in the video. But after I called him out, everyone started bashing on him, or a big majority of my fans started bashing him. I started reading the comments section, and I was disgusted with half the people in there. I actually saw one guy literally just go up to Kyria Wave and said he just shouldn't have existed.
Wow.
He should have just become a sperm and go back. And I'm like, that was one of the first fans where I was just I literally went into the comment section and said, "Get out, you get out." I was so pissed off at that. I had to make multiple huge statements because people would always be sending me his like Ask FM answers and twisting what he said and be like, "Oh look, CurioWave's saying something dumb again." I'm like, no, he's not. And I had to just like completely like lose my temper at everyone. Like, guys, leave Wave alone. If I see one more, like, I remember Zarek, no, Zarek played along the joke, but somebody, like, sent me an Ask FM post one day and just went, "Guys, Wave is eating cereal." Cereal. He's being mean to people who don't eat cereal. Wow. And I was just...
Oppression. It's oppression, that's what it is.
That was amazing. Because I was like, because there are people who watch me that have a lot of common sense, and I appreciate. I've always appreciated the appreciation for my videos. I love all the fan art I get. There was this one person who heard that I was in a really bad mood, and they drew fan art for me and just put in there just like, I heard that you were in a bad mood, so here you go. I wanted to make you feel good, like your videos did to me, and I literally cried that day.
Aww.
I freaking bawled that day. Oh, holy crap.
Get over here. Give me a hug.
Yeah,
yes, but...
No, he's giving me a hug, God damn it!
I'm a tiger. I have the fuzzy fur.
Ladies, stop it. I get the hug first. Come here.
But, in fact, I sort of teared up a bit while I was bringing it up. It's sort of an emotional soft spot for me. But like, there's people like that, and that always, whenever I say that I regret getting popular, I remember stuff like that. But... that still doesn't change the fact that there is still the bad side. Ponder has spoke out against it multiple times. If any of my fans, any of them, I don't care who it is, it does crap like that, what I just described, or anything akin to that, I don't care. I disown them. Or at least I'm not gonna be nice. At the very least, I'm not gonna be nice about it. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it just because you like me.
So basically, what you're saying is one of the major ways for the community to grow is for the fans to grow with us. The number one thing, I think I hear what you're getting at here. Your major thing is we promote thinking more into the details instead of just taking things face value. And the number one things I think what you're getting here is, as fans of this content, we should be taking this moment to like think of it, try to hear both sides, and try to get the information in between.
And it's like, not just that. Not only should the fans think, sort of like back to what I just said a minute ago, like, us as creators, we can't control our fans, but we can still, you know, don't sugarcoat just because they like you. Just because they like you, that doesn't mean that you should be nice to them if they're legitimately screwing up. Especially if then the way they're screwing up is completely against what you stand for.
I guess that's kind of like the benefit of such a... This is not the most popular community on YouTube, but it's the benefit of having such a... I wouldn't say extremely small, but such a close-knit fan base. Is we can... I wouldn't say police. Police would be like the worst case of that side.
I would say interact. I think we can actually interact with the people that are watching us and, you know, get critique from them and just kind of have a nice chat with them as well. I mean, I have a lot of friends that I've met that are other commentators and that are just flat out fans of mine. And it's good to actually, you know the people that watch my stuff, because I feel a little bit more comfortable with that. I feel more comfortable knowing who is actually watching my stuff. And, you know, it's like, when I don't know, it's refreshing to hear, like, some random person say, "Oh, I like your stuff." It's like, great, fantastic. But if I later on hear that person has done something, you know, horrible, like tell somebody to go kill themselves just because they didn't like my content, that's where I would draw the line.
Comments are what the fuck. Have you guys ever gotten to a situation where somebody actually came to you on someone else's video that you did a commentary on, and they actually sent out certain situations like I wouldn't say as far as death threats maybe, just like such negative stuff that it would be considered harassment, and you actually stepped in on their videos to do something about it?
Like, what was there a time when somebody I've commentated on the negative stuff to them would be considered harassment?
No, it's more.
Or is it the other way around?
No, it's you do a commentary on somebody, your fan goes to their video, and instead of like, oh, your video sucks, your video blows, or whatever, they go the extra mile and cross that line. Would you step in that situation? It's like, dude, there is a point, and you just missed it.
I believe there actually was one, like, back in, like, early commentary community, like, with, maybe with Lyric Shooter, where somebody actually called his mom.
What?
Yeah.
Anybody know about this situation?
I remember, like...
Wait, who?
Lyric Shooter. Somebody actually called Lyric Shooter's mom, and...
Someone called someone actually called, like, Lyric Shooter's mom. Oh, you know what? I remember one time when... Joshua 8428, when he was relevant, I remember somebody actually called his school or something, called the principal or whatever, and said that Josh was acting stupid online. And I did not condone that. I told them that it was kind of dumb that they did that, but, they didn't listen to me. They ignored what I said. So ever since, I kind of just, like, didn't really talk to them after that, because it was like, it's kind of taking it too seriously. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't extend it outside the internet like this. It really is unconscionable. I would not wish that on any person that I've done videos on. I mean, they may act silly on the internet, but you don't know how they are in real life. They could be saints in real life,
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting this here. Is the last thing you need to do on either spectrum is cross the line. What would you add to that, like, than just saying, "Oh, don't cross the line"? Because that's just such a broad statement. Like, what is crossing the line for you, other than taking things too far and going into the real world?
I'm trying to think of the word.
I actually remember that there was, like, one instance where I had somebody actually send me death and rape threats before.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I remember that guy.
Yeah. Not gonna say his name, but. People who know, we know who he is, and we're not going to say it. And quite frankly, I'd rather not go down that road any further. But I've actually had that, and quite frankly, to anybody who actually gets those kind of threats, don't be afraid to at least call authorities, because that kind of stuff can actually get people arrested.
Yeah.
And for people that are actually doing that, fucking stop. You're going to get arrested, and quite frankly, it's sick and wrong, and you're no better than the person that I commentated on.
I would say for in the fan base, that would definitely be one situation. As a commentator, I remember my second video on my channel, Do You Even Blaze It? Ryan, that was their first time you saw my videos on my channel. And the one thing you left on my channel, which is always rung true, and I always remember it whenever I write a script, is I had a moment in the middle of the video where I completely killed the tone. I got so mad writing it, doing the audio, just rewatching that part. He kept on bringing up casual gamers and how they're not real gamers and all that stuff, and that always bugs me. And I just got to the point where it's like, it sounded like a death threat at first. And then I said I would never wish death upon everyone. But before saying that statement, I said, the fact that you're breathing makes me sick. And it's just that entire tone of that situation. Looking back now, it was not even crossing the line. I jumped the border. That was way too far for me as a new commentator. And I learned a harsh lesson at that moment. There's a point of being angry, and then there's a point of taking it too far. I felt justified for being angry, but I definitely shouldn't have gotten that far.
What was it? Because I sort of had a thing like that. I didn't entirely go far with my words, but when it came to my 16th commentary, my anger kind of got way too overboard. Some people tend to disagree, but that is the only video that I've just like, I don't even want to be associated with it in the least, but not even as a joke.
I understand. So basically, it's like there's a point of getting annoyed, there's a point of angry, but you have to know when it's too far. One thing I dealt with recently was Gamer Rant. He made a response video that was pure slander. Every single person I pointed it to is like, this is just pure slander. After hearing all this stuff, I had to make the conscious decision. Originally, I wanted to make a video on this no matter what. Even if it was like an apology, like, hey, I'm sorry, I was wrong type situation, hypothetics. But the major thing that I told myself was, I cannot do this video. I am too angry. I'm too emotionally attached to think straight. So it was more of that. Whenever you get so angry that you're starting to get blurred vision, or just you're shaking or screaming or throwing things, walk away. You know.
That's what I've. What is it? There have been a few people that have responded to me where I got so like no.jpg. They're just like, I'm not even doing this. You do it. I can't.
Find somebody else. This would not work for me. Anybody else in that ever gotten to that situation?
Oh yes.
Yeah, actually, yeah. When I made that shitty commentary, there was a guy that actually did a commentary on the same thing. Didn't even like bring a whole lot of the points that Azu actually did, but that I was commentating apparently on a child that automatically made my commentary bad, which was like, okay. For one, the kid was like 14 at the time, and 2, turned out he was a troll, so your face. And 3, it's just... Azu brought in more to the table with that commentary and pointed out why I was wrong on certain things. I felt that she did a really, really good job with that commentary, despite, what she said in the end, like saying, it's kid, lay off, when, quite frankly, she's around the same age. She was around the same age at the time. I digress. But at the same time, it's just like, I got so mad. I was like, you could hear it in my voice. I was like, raising my tone to the point where I was almost yelling. And when I get angry, I get loud. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. I get so loud that I start screaming. I can throw things. I can start breaking things. Well, maybe. And it's not a pretty thing to see. And I hope it's something that, close friends of mine never, ever, ever see, because I hate that part of me.
I try, when I do my commentaries, I try my best to look at things like on a rather matter-of-fact scale. I think the only time I actually did get visibly angry was when I did my video on Hodge. Oh my god, a lot of people even noticed that in the comment section. They were like, geez, I hope you feel better after doing this video. You sounded so pissed off. And I think I was justifiably angry, because, not even going to go into detail in this video, Hodge did a wide variety of things that ultimately got under my skin, and it turned into like a huge personal thing that again, I'm not going to elaborate on, but it really dug into my skin, and he was one of the few people that I've known in this life that got me to the point where I was just anger, spitting fire out of my mouth, smoke out of my ears, I turned into frickin', the Human Torch from the Fantastic Four. It was horrible.
Does anybody got anything while I'm thinking?
Well, I mean, one of the major things, it's not only like new commentators need to take this advice, I think it's like old commentators coming back, or old commentators that didn't left. How should they treat newcomers? What do you guys think how they should treat newcomers? That's
something that I actually wanted to bring up too, because it's like we got a whole slew of new commentators, you and Blaze included, because you guys have pulled out some really, really good stuff. Some even actually sparked bandwagons, i.e. Blaze and Rants.
Oh, and I'm nothing. I'm nothing.
Yeah, I told Blaze one day.
Gamer Rants.
I told Blaze one day that's just like Blaze has like the biggest niche for starting bandwagons, apparently.
Yeah, she does.
That's a new thing.
And here's the thing. I feel like, in a way, okay, I'm actually gonna name drop here. Lightish Red Gamer. We've all seen her first commentary.
I haven't.
Well, let's just say it was not the worst, but it was certainly not the best. However, for her start, it actually was okay. It was actually pretty decent. It was decent. And right. people were actually saying, "Oh, this video was so why are we even here?" And I kind of felt like that's where it actually started. that kind of thing. And I feel like, in a sense, I really want to take her under my wing and, just kind of show her, what she could do to improve her content.
It doesn't mean you have to do it for everybody, but
No, but still, it's like, it's like she has potential. Same thing could go for some of the people in Fox and the people in B Team. They're not the worst commentators in the world. They're certainly not the best, but they can definitely improve. And it's like, this is the one thing that I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of the 2012 events actually happening again and people start, bashing all these new commentators coming in and just, saying, you're not as good as so-and-so. And it's just like, it's dumb. They're new. They're doing their own thing. Let them do their own thing. Hell, one of my best friends, Shell, I actually, like, Okay, Shell, they actually posted a commentary today. They actually just started. Shell had just started, and they did a very decent job for their first time. I was so proud of them, and I was so excited for them. And I told them, hey, if you ever need anything, and if like you ever have any trouble, you come to me, and I'll help you through it. And the thing is, like, I'm worried for them because I don't want them to go through the same bullshit that I went through when I started out in 2012. And it's like, I want nothing but the best for both of these commentators.
This kind of goes back to my older point. I remember I did get into an argument. The entire thing got settled, and the person in question kind of dropped it. But I remember when the B Team first popped up, around the time they first popped up, somebody screamed "B.O.P ripoff." Somebody screamed "B.O.P ripoff," and their reasonings for it was stupid. The reasonings was because 3 out of the 6 overall members have a history of plagiarizing, and because their logo looked similar. And I was like, that's dumb.
Yeah, that is dumb, actually. Now, in the case of, before we go back to advice for beginners and just general statements towards people that have been around, what are your thoughts about the new groups coming up? Do you think that's going to help or hurt the entire situation?
My honest opinion is I've wanted a group to pop up for the longest time because B.O.P has been the only talk of the town lately, and I feel like that sort of gives that opens the thing for that opens the gate for 2 things. One, sort of like a commentary equivalent to a monopoly, where we're just the only thing anyone ever talks about, and it's just nobody even wants to give any of the other new ones a chance because B.O.P exists. Why would they go find others? Or, and the other thing it opens up for is a lot of, you're not as good as B.O.P, or you're not as good as this guy from B.O.P, or this guy from B.O.P, and that annoys me.
Yeah. I actually, speaking in the same vein as Scarlett, I actually feel I'm taking 8363 MTR underneath my wing because he keeps coming to me for advice. He talks to me casually on Skype, but he we talk every day. He just comes to me like I'm a normal person. He's one of the few people that actually came to me and just goes, "What's up?" I'm like, "Oh my god, this guy is actually a human being that wants to talk to me and not idolize me. That's awesome."
They're new groups. I want them to at least do well, and they just started putting out content. So, you don't know how they're going to grow as a group, but I do feel that maybe one of them might prevail, one of them might not, but who knows. But we only have to wait and see. That's
let's keep it. Yeah, I want to keep an open mind. I've been trying to keep as open as a mind as possible because the first B Team commentary came out, and I thought it was okay, minus the majorly bad acting. With Fox's commentary, I still haven't sit through it because it's sort of an understandable thing. Henry and MTR don't really work. They don't play off each other that well because they both seem like straight men.
Yeah.
Right now, I think what they need to do is they need to basically kind of see what works and what doesn't, and go from there.
Yeah, because that's what B.O.P did.
Yeah, with B Team though, I think that they do have a lot of potential. especially if they keep this kind of thing up. But the thing is that they do got to work on their acting a little bit. If they work on their acting a little bit, maybe kind of like make it not so wooden, then they can do a lot of good stuff with humor and things like that. I mean, they got something going for them, and
a few of their gonna be honest, a few of their jokes actually did make me giggle.
yeah,
It's I give them that.
Well, I think one of the major things on the Foxcom, it kept my attention a little bit more than the B Team com. But if I have to say anything as a newcomer, just looking outside in, it's one of those things that I feel would help out the community. Competition breeds progress. It will help advance at least the group's skills, editing, thought processes, content in general. If we have at least like a friendly competition, I'm not saying we're gonna have like an all-out war with Fox and B Team once they get more subscribers or they start producing content after content, but it definitely will help out not only B.O.P but the entire community if we try to accept like a different company instead of just saying, oh well, you're just a B.O.P ripoff, or oh you're just stealing from Ryan again type mentality.
Yeah, I hated that. Like I was like sure I was like I don't think B Team's gonna work. I don't really think CIC was gonna work. I was being a bit over negative, but I hated when people just screamed B.O.P ripoff. That pissed me off. When people just screamed B.O.P ripoff and was like, oh, this is B.O.P ripoff, this is going to be the worst thing ever, I'm like, shut up.
They haven't done anything yet. You can't really say that. They have, was it on Fox or was it on B Team wherever you saw B.O.P ripoff?
B Team. With the Confederation of Independent Commentators, it was a bit more justifiable because, it had people like Stocky Owl and, Stocky Owl, Future Blood, people who were just commonly known for just extremely under average commentaries.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, here's what people are going to say. Oh, well, you're being hypocritical because you're being supportive of Fox and not other people. Well, see, here's the thing about like us having support for other people. It's the thing about other people, and I've seen this with many different people over the course of me doing commentaries for several years, is that when you have people that are not only making terrible content but are toxic to everyone around them except for people that agree with them, you don't really have that much patience or respect for them. I try to reason and I try to like talk to them, but it's like talking to a brick wall. And if they want to act as if they are toxic to other people, I think that's the main problem. It's not just the fact that they don't make good content, it's the fact that they're just poor people in general. I mean, if you try to throw someone like, someone from the CIC into B.O.P, for example, like Future Blood, who's to say that, he's going to keep up with everybody else in B.O.P? It's not, I'm not trying to knock him as a person. He probably is a great person in real life. I'm just saying that on here, what he has demonstrated is that, like, he seems to make poor content and does not want to make better content. Instead, he's okay and satisfied with making, lower level content just because it's easier for him to pump out the videos. That's what it seems to me. The same goes for a lot of other commentators who, think that they're hot poopy and then, decide to still make gross content. And in addition, when they're called out, they're like, oh, well, you're just not understanding, and you're just this, and you're just a rip, and you're just sucking everybody's.
They pull a Midnight Phantom, basically.
Yeah,
seriously.
No.
Speaking on improvement, to go on something else, if you guys don't mind. You guys have any
Sure.
thoughts on the groups?
On what groups?
Not just like the hypocrite and all what you were on. I'm sorry.
Oh, trust me. Like again, going back to my experience, you will not believe how many times I've heard the word hypocrite thrown around. I'm getting sick and tired of that word. I'm starting to use the word charlatan because that's a synonym of hypocrite, and nobody says that word. And I'd rather say you're such a charlatan or a two-faced because not only is it,
your biasm is showing. Okay,
the biasm. Okay,
the biasm is verbatim in this situation. You need to calm down.
Okay. I'm sorry. There's minors present. Let me cover myself up.
Jesus Christ, Hobbs. Oh, God.
God darn you, Hobbs! You
Playing off my joke.
Yes, but but no. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I've heard the word thrown at me so many times. I remember in episode 27, when I got on to Illinois Guy for overreacting to Jason Murray Jr.'s video, everyone was throwing hypocrite back at me because I overreacted to Flippy, and I'm just like, I beg your pardon, sir.
I think it also goes down to the word ironic as well. Going back to the Gamer Rant video, I remember I showed that video to TP. It sounded like he was about to take his monitor and throw it out of window. It's ironic, hypocrite. I was called a hypocrite in the comments by the same guy. Done with him. He came in, and I made a comment on him using a camera. I don't care if you use a camera, you use an avatar, if it's just a blank screen, or you just have like a text that's just the title of the video. If you're gonna prove a point, in any form, do it to the best of your ability. And I commented, it's like, if you're gonna use a camera, make sure it's closer, make sure nothing's in the background to distract people. Get a boom mic. Don't move around so much, and if you have a problem with just fidgeting around, sit in a chair or something. And I did it in, my cynic, comedic way. And he called me a hypocrite for the better camera angles that I used. And it just blew my mind, because what does he do in the next video? He doesn't learn from what I said because he considered me a hypocrite.
Yeah,
because he decided not to use like a camera and just decided to use that Scarlet as an avatar, and not.
And this
not,
is something
not
that
Scarlet,
really.
Thank God.
This is sort of like the overlining thing.
Yeah.
When it comes to both bias and hypocrite, I hate it when people use that as the reason why your argument is wrong. I remember I've been in so many arguments where they're just like, "But didn't you say this during the debate?" And I'm like, "Okay." Like, well, first of all, I have to clarify to them that that's not what I said and how I wasn't a hypocrite, but even then, I always bring up, that's not the point of the conversation. Does that make my point wrong? No, it doesn't.
And it also goes back to the comments thing of, if you don't mind me jumping back there, somebody pointed out why he thought I was a hypocrite. And the major thing is I explained that at the end of the day, because of the video thing, it did not matter as long as the points were still there. And if he's using that to blind himself, that's his problem. The major thing I was going at in that, though, was he was polite in explaining why he thought I was a hypocrite, and I was polite in explaining why the situation happened. Politeness breeds politeness, anger leads anger, so on and so forth. But I completely forgot where I was going with this. Sorry.
Fine.
But it's what is it, Ryan? To go on. It's like, well, because you said this, it's one of my favorite fallacies, because it's by far the dumbest. It's a fallacy. A fallacy is basically, let's say Hobbs and I are having a discussion on Coldplay, and he says Coldplay is. I say Coldplay is a metal band. He says Coldplay is not a metal band because they suck. I instantly point out, for the simple fact that he used an ad hominem, that he's wrong, and I will not take anything else from him. That is a fallacy.
Mm-hmm.
And that just makes the situation worse. It makes you look worse in the long run if you succumb to that. Just because they use a fallacy, just because they have a hypocritical moment in the past, it does not mean the point is not there. But no. I'm more rambling at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all right. Anything else we can go on, or should we just go back?
Okay. No. I actually do have a new thing to bring up. I've noticed that the really multi-degrees are not bad. I've noticed the extremely convoluted, very long 10th degrees, 8th degrees, 9th degrees. I've seen a 12th degree go up. Stuff like
God.
that. I'm tired of seeing that. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that come back.
I mentioned that years ago too. Like, one of the first videos I've ever did was like I called it commentary overkill. And even then, back in 2011, I was like, you guys, stop making like 6-degree commentaries. I can't keep track of all of them. There's too many of them. And not only that, but you're probably repeating what someone said. And not only that, but your points still suck, so this is boring. It's like sitting through a 1.5-hour video where you watched 2/3 of it already. It's just,
It makes it worse whenever the degree chain is full of people that are all like the 12th degree. Only 2 people in there I actually liked as content creators, even by a little bit, and that was Illinois guy and Mike Johnston. Everything else, what was it? Future Blood? I think it was Future Blood. No, freaking Gurry Gurlo X? No. RCV5? No. Freaking no. Just like, I have a tolerance for high commentary degree chains. Like, I liked the David the Ranter commentary, even though that was a freaking 8th degree. It's like, even then, make it so it's not completely dead, like completely just all over the place.
Yeah.
And make it, like, not only find a way to make it, easier to follow, but make it so, like, you're not repeating points that was earlier in the chain, so there's really no point, or, make sure it's actually... Make it entertaining. That is the overlining point of almost every single problem that commentaries have. Yeah. In fact, there have been quite a few issues, like, commentaries on Sean Sampson. I don't think there was anything there, but I usually gave an exception if it was entertaining, if it was funny, if it gave me a reason to care. Whenever it came to most of the rules of the commentary community, I almost always, depending on what it was, depending on what the guideline or whatever you want to call it was, I mostly gave an exception if they gave me a reason to care.
Like if, let's say hypothetically, there's a video that wasn't relevant in the past, let's say 3 years ago, but it has become extremely relevant now. Would that be, would that go in the guidelines, or would that just be a no-no in the situation?
Personally, if we're going by years, I think like the limit at the it would depend how it became relevant again. But even then, I've mostly been like 3 years is sort of pushing it. Maybe 2 years at most if you really, really want to stretch it. It's like I've never had an issue with commentating on old videos, or at least recently, ever since episode 15, where I commentated on a year-old video. But it's like it
has become a taboo in a way, or just like
it's mostly just because, like, sure, it's like you got to give me a reason to care. Bring something new, bring something interesting. In the case of people like me or whatever, make it entertainment. Commentaries, whether people like to call it, helps people improve, it criticizes, it is still an entertainment. That's what mostly sets it apart from... The entertainment value is what sets it apart from just posting a comment.
It's not just educational, it's also entertainment. And unless, it is entertaining along with the whole educational aspect, then not many people are going to stick around. And that's what some people, like, that's what I feel that there are some commentators that just don't exactly understand that. Like, some just actually don't know how to be entertaining and argumentative at the same time.
Well,
yeah, or like I've actually, like, I remember.
Anybody remember Orion?
Oh,
no.
Boy.
Okay. Can somebody give me a TLDR version of Orion?
Orion broadcast. Let me give you. This is the best way to explain it. He was one of the biggest commentary bandwagons of 2013, and there were 2 sides to his arguments. He responded to every single person who ever commented on him, whether there was logic behind it or not. He responded to me making a joke video where one of my arguments was, my dad is the Fonzie.
Wait. Wasn't this the same guy, after seeing a 45-second parody video, made a 12-minute commentary on it?
Yeah.
Yes,
oh my god.
And that was a one
but
shot.
there were two sides to the argument, and it was always funny to me. It's like one side, it's I don't like people, commentating or doing reviews and saying bad things about The Lion King. And then the other side was, I don't like religion. I'm like,
What?
oh.
Where did that
Okay.
come from?
I don't even know. I was just watching the flames just kind of like go off, and I was just like, "Ooh, pretty lights."
Oh my gosh, it was like
ah.
I was going to do that until I just started making joke videos to him. Um, yeah.
I gotta rewatch those.
Yeah.
What
Somebody
was
make a
it?
playlist, please. That'd be awesome.
I do have a playlist. I have a playlist of all of his responses to me.
Damn.
Send
I could s-
links, please.
Links in
Yes.
the below.
Yeah, links in the description. All of you can watch it. It's funny. But
Yeah.
okay, yeah. What was the main thing we were talking about?
Basically, like the
Oh,
whole
yeah, yeah.
difference between like
Yeah.
educational and
Oh yeah. And I've
entertaining.
always hated it. Hated it. Shh.
Such a
Shut up.
Hated.
wordsmith.
Fix your words. No, I have always hated it when people would pan a commentary because it was just mostly jokes. Now, before anybody stops me, because I remember I actually did pan Craze T's video because it was all just a bunch of random statements and not really commentating. It's because he barely commentated at all, and he was just randomly pointing out things in the background. So shush. But no, he
At that point,
basically
it's not a commentary. It's just a riff video.
he basically pulled a Cody Briscoe. Shots fired.
Boom, boom.
What was I saying? But no, I've hated when people have panned a video just because it's mostly jokes. Like it's mostly a jokey commentary, but there's still criticism in it. A perfect example. I remember I got on. This was one of the things I did call out Kyria Wave for. He panned episode 25. He still kind of says it's probably one of my weaker ones, which I disagree, but whatever.
Episodes 1 through 4, cough, cough, cough.
But no, it
Never
was
happened.
mostly his reasoning was he felt that the jokes were filler and were pointless. And I'm like, yeah, but it really just comes. That's not really an objective thing. Like it's more of just like almost pretty much you can consider almost all jokes filler. It's just if they're good. I've luckily nobody has done that in a while. So, which actually brings me to a topic I kept in the back of my mind for most of this, but I wanted to bring up, and I wanted to wait until we got through some of the
Heavier stuff.
yeah got through the negatives.
Yes.
Where do you think that the community has improved from like before? Like, what is the difference between 2014? I'm not 2014, 2015, and 2011. That could help contribute to it not to 2012 not happening again. What do you think the differences are?
As a newcomer, I did a lot of research. I tell Scarlett and I tell Loudon and I tell pretty much everybody. One of the things I do a lot whenever I'm at work, I got long breaks and all that stuff. I just watch old videos, and by old videos I mean even as far as 2011. I think one of the best things that has happened is a lot of people are grasping the idea of this is YouTube. This is not SoundCloud. This is YouTube. It is a visual medium. No, Ryan, you're a great example of that. Editing has just skyrocketed. People have understood that one of the major things that you can do, as at least in the entertainment aspect or in the realm of commentaries, is make everything visible. What is it? My recent video on Midnight Phantom, every single person is like, I constantly says you have to watch it. You can't just have it in the background. And I think I think people grasping that, as Mr. Sir Raven, you, Ryan, Scarlett, you do it too. Loudon does it. Everybody a lot of people in B.O.P do it, is they grasp the idea it is a visual medium. And I think that has definitely helped improve. Hasn't made it like the greatest thing in the world. It's definitely made it improved by a great mile, in my opinion, of what I've seen.
Yeah, and one thing I do really like that Hobbs, I'm going to need you to confirm this for me.
He's not
He
here.
can't.
Oh,
He
He
can't.
died. He died. David came in. He stabbed him in the back, and he's currently just sitting in the chair. I don't know why he's not wearing the mic. I don't know why he's not talking into the mic. I think he's just
okay, but okay, then maybe. What I want to say is that there's a lot more cooperation.
yes.
Yes, there is.
Also, 2015, well, technically early 2014 when B.O.P started, technically marks the first commentary group that actually did something. That actually did something, went somewhere, and stayed somewhere for a long period amount of time.
2015 has just been the year of co-ops, so it's like this is it's like been the year where the commentary community is at its peak.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it
really
is-
want it to stay up there for a good long while.
What was
Yeah,
it? Yes.
because I enjoy 2015. I've enjoyed 2015 commentary wise. You know, all the people have come back, and this is something I remember I posted this once. It was sort of a private message once, but I really like that ever since B.O.P has been a thing. I've mostly noticed this with the intro and outro skets, and you know all the different, just the other fun little skits and sketches that everybody's been doing. Everyone's having more fun with it. Just everyone is legitimately having a good time playing off each other. You know, seeing who works with who better. See who see who works the best. See who can make a funnier skit. Just like everyone's having fun with it. It's not just everyone who's better. It's more of just like a.
It's not a dick showing contest. It's a helicopter contest. What you're basically.
Yeah, everyone's having everyone is having a good time. There are some people who are like, it would be cool if I got to the level of quality of this guy, but it's not like I want to be better than them.
If anything, that might be just like not like better. It's more of motivation
It's like,
to become better.
it's motivation. It's motivation to become better, and it's motivation to socialize.
Yes.
That's what I feel is like the best part about this community right now is that more people are socializing with each other, and they're not only giving criticism, but they're having fun just talking. That's something that I missed out on in 2012, and I'm so glad that I came back.
What was
Thank
it?
you for persuading me to come back, Ryan. Just let me
Thank
say
you.
that. Thank
What
you for
was it?
persuading me to come back.
Loudon said it best on his The Return of the King video. I think that's what it was called, right? He said the major reason why he stopped is he felt like he was better than this. He was better than this. And then he started thinking about it. I remember having conversations with him a lot while we were driving around doing all our real life stuff. He remembered the fun. He remembered the fun, and honestly, him talking about the fun times and the good times in commentary really persuaded me. It's like, maybe I should try this as well. I mean, if I fail, so what? I gave it a shot. Maybe I'll learn something from it. Maybe I'll just grow as a person. But ever since my Gaijin Goomba video, I've been meeting more people. I've been making so many friends in this process. I've been having such great conversations. I used to go to bed at 10 o'clock every single day for work. Nowadays, I have to convince myself to go to bed at 12 at midnight just so I can remember I have work in about 4 hours.
Same, yes.
I remember the first time I had a conversation with you, Ryan. What was it? We were up till like 5 in the morning Central Standard Time, and it was just, I have no idea why we lasted that long. It was our first chat, and it definitely is. It was fun. I was growing as a person. We were just chatting and just screwing around, doing nothing. And it's like now I just can't even imagine coming home without at least IMing somebody and just my contacts as a commentator. I'd say that'd be like the number one thing. If I have to say, I don't think this should be closing statements, but this is definitely like one of the things that all commentators, new, old, were gone for about 3 months but came back or stuff like that. If it's still fun, keep doing it. If it stops being fun, stop for a while. If anything at all, or just stop altogether. What is it? And a hobby that I have that I really don't want to divulge until I'm fully ready. The number one thing I was told was, if it stops being fun, the door's over there. And that's not me. That's them more protecting their business. But it's more of an understanding is there is a reason why you started doing this, and that's not to become a millionaire. That's not to get the women. That's not get to do all that stuff. It's to have fun and keep doing it because you love it. If the love is gone, if the passion's gone, if the fun is gone, the reason is gone. When you run across a new content creator, when you run across a new commentary creator, be at least the tiny bit optimistic. Because if you try to go instantly cynicism, instant cynic, instant I'm not going to like this, you just talked yourself into not liking a video. And that is the worst thing you could do in any situation. Even if it's a movie, you can have low expectations on it, but don't go in like, I'm going to hate this, aren't I?
Yeah. It's like what Ponder said. I remember her saying in her Q&A. If you go into a movie saying that you're not going to like it, chances are you're not going to like it.
Yeah.
So basically, it's kind of the same thing with this kind of stuff. If you go in just with the mindset of pessimism and just like saying, "Oh, this is going to be a shit thing. This is going to be a shit commentary from another shitty commentator who just does not know what the fuck they're doing," then chances are you're going to perceive it as a shitty commentary, when in reality it wasn't really that bad.
Now, granted, to go slightly back to the negative, that does not excuse statements said from new commentators. It's like, be optimistic, be a tiny bit lenient. What is it?
Open-minded.
Be open-minded is more of it. But what is it? My Gamer Rant video, I look back on that saying that had the least amount of points and made the least amount of sense next to my Kerry Grissom video. The reason why I say that is what is it? I made a comparison of what he said about Bethesda, and what is it? Bethesda is not at fault for the 75% margin on paid mods. It was all Valve's fault. It was all Steam's fault. And I made a comparison and I explained it. I said it's like going at it saying it's not the Nazis' fault for the Holocaust. It's the land of Germany, which I could have instantly said. I didn't explain myself afterwards. If you see a tiny nitpick, it's not a bad thing to bring it to their attention. And if they start acting like a what's a good way of saying it?
A whiny little bitch.
That's a good one. If they start acting like a whiny little bitch, it's like, well, if you don't like it, don't watch the video. That's the moment where you realize how they're going to go. And if they're going to act that way, they're not going to last.
Yeah.
What is it? Ryan sent me, back to that line crossing thing. Ryan sent me that thing. And I've been watching your videos like mad around the time. So I was like, oh, I did fanboy for a tiny bit a second because I went a bit crazy on watching your videos. So you have a lot and it's like, oh, I have to catch up. Even the Unforgivable 4. Please call
I like how you call that Unforgivable. and not episodes 1 and 2. Or 3. 3 is probably my least favorite out of all of them.
But I remember he read that, and the first thing that went through my mind is, he actually brings up a good point. It did not really add anything to the video. It added the understanding of how I felt at the moment, which is not always a bad thing, but it didn't add anything. Not even like a tiny little punchline, which I could think of now. It could have just ended with the sound of a potato chip crunching. And that would have made the entire tension dead.
Are you going to take a potato chip and eat it?
Like a crunch.
Again, I was just sitting there waiting for a punchline. Like, he's going to have a punchline to this. He's going to have a punchline to this.
I had so many punchlines until that moment. And it just killed the entire video.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say it killed it. It's just like for the rest of the video, I was like, okay, yeah, he's got it back, but...
Whew, that was a close one.
Yeah, it's just literally, that's like, basically like a metaphor. It would be like if you were just walking along, and that's just most of the video, you're just walking along, and you're all happy, and then somebody shot, and then like, the video got shot in the arm, and then it got back up, and then the rest of the video is it walking to the ER.
Just like, skipping in joy.
Like, yeah, he's like still skipping, and he's still cool about it, but he's still heading to the ER.
I want that drawn now.
Oh my god, somebody draw that egg and Ponder, somebody! I don't feel like drawing it.
No, I will literally, like, whatever, whenever I get enough money to do so, I want to just commission Ponder to do that. Just like draw a video walking, then him getting shot, and then him walking again, all happy but straight to the ER.
Oh man.
Oh wait, speaking of Ponder, she actually did bring up something that one thing that a lot of commentators do need to take in mind. I did sort of like disagree with her a bit on it, but not entirely. It was more of just like a understanding of why the issue exists and why it happens sometimes. On one hand, I do not like it when people make certain issues a public issue.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I've never liked that. But Ponder brought up that sometimes people make it a bit too private. You know, some things they don't really address out in the open. It's mostly just like not really addressing it to the person you have the issue with, not really addressing it to the person, more of just like away from them. Basically pretty scummy like behavior sort of.
Yeah, I won't name names, but I had a similar situation whenever I was first brought into the chat before I got in. I was having a conversation with someone, and he did not like a commentator doing a commentator who did a joke on MD that he felt crossed the line. And all that went through my mind one day, a lot of people brought this to his attention, especially in his comments. And whoever knows this knows exactly what I'm talking about. But the thing that went through my mind is like, if he had such a problem, why didn't he bring it up? Like, go straight to him. It's like, dude, you do know what you just did, right? That was completely screwed up. There's like just keeping it to yourself. There's making it too public and making it so private you're just repressing it. And
yeah,
there's that middle ground you could always find. If they could take criticism, if they can actually listen to what you're saying, bring it up to them. If they can't take criticism, sometimes it's just talking to a brick wall.
Or like just talk it out with them, because I know there have been so many times where I'll be like, and for the rest of the week, I was going to everyone like, oh my gosh, this guy pissed me off. His face. And I never really brought it to him. I never like fully talked it out with him. And because of that, and because everyone was just sort of nodding their head at me, I was like, okay, this guy he needs to be completely gone from everything. So yeah, he almost got like the worst treatment for something that wasn't really even that bad. But when we actually talked things out, I was like, I overreacted. It's stuff like that. You know, if you don't really bring it to them, for most people, you kind of warp your perception to make it worse. Yes. Shut up. You warp your thought process to make it out to be worse than it actually is. Like, I understand situations where keeping it under wraps is a good idea, because putting it out in public would just, cause chaos.
Yes.
And this person was someone like that, because, making it public was sort of a thing that they wanted, because they wanted to, try to get as many people to believe them as much as possible, and that person was sort of a person who could, twist the words to make people do that, or at least start a riot.
Yeah, I think it's also important if you have I'm going to say friends, a group of friends in the community, and you chat with them frequently, and you hear that something's starting up, try to get them, if anything, if you know they're reasonable people, try to get them to talk, to communicate, because the last thing you need to do is start drama over something small. I'm not going to name the name of the person that was in question, but two members were, I was having a chat with a member of B.O.P, and he was having an issue with a current commentator. I think he came back, or he was brand new. And I'm trying to... It's like so many people in this. A certain cynical member left a comment in the chat, and he kind of rubbed the first one a little bit there. So I was like, okay, we got to get this squashed now. We got to get this taken care of. I got them both on a call, and everything changed in the situation. I think you may remember this, Ryan. I'm trying to keep the anonymity of this, but we were talking about this in the meme team stream.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. Now I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes, and it's. I'm gonna say no. I'm not even gonna say it. But it's definitely one of those. It's definitely one of those, like, if you have the chance to take out a fire before it gets bigger, or take out a situation before it gets worse, and you know it will work. Or even if you think even if it doesn't, like, you have a slim chance it will work, at least try. Because the last thing you want to do is cause a major drama, a major schism in the entire situation that will just end up hurting people in the end. Not only, like, video-wise, but personally. Because this is a hobby. This is for fun. We don't want to end up hurting each other in IRL because, oh, I have a difference of opinion than you. The last thing.
And, like, well, I mean, again, what was it? I did sort of explain that, like, most of the time, like, and yeah, this is more of just a clarification. Most of the time, whenever you could easily address it to the person, I mostly bring it up to other people or sort of keep it, in a private situation, mostly because I want to gather my thoughts. Just trying to gather your thoughts and trying to put them in sort of an organized manner and then bringing it to them. As long as you plan to bring it to them at some point,
yes,
that is not, a week or so, then that's not that big of an issue.
I say the sooner the better, too. But our major thing is to debate arguments, point out flaws, and give criticism.
Mm-hmm. And also to entertain.
And to entertain as well. But I think one of the major things that some people miss is the criticism part. Mm-hmm. It's either they miss it or they overcomplicate it. I'd say as a new commentator myself, one of the things I did is, like, there's times where it's like, if it's basic criticism, brush it off, don't make it a major deal. The last thing you want to do is repeat yourself. I think you said it best on one of your videos on Gem, is once.
Say it once, maybe twice if it's absolutely needed, and not again.
Yes. There are rare moments, like if it's only brought up, I don't know, 3 times, I'd say it'd be my limit. But I definitely took that to heart, and the most redundant statement in the world is scripting and editing. Mm-hmm. I made that a punchline even on one of my videos. I made it on the Kerry Grissom video. I literally just used an old meme of a guy I don't even know who is.
That was Supersonic 407, I think.
Yeah.
And then you shot it before it could say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's like it's basically, before I say anything else, and then I did that, I have no idea who that is. My major point is, if that's your only criticism on like the video itself, and you still have a debate, then bring it up. But then it goes to something else. If that's the only thing you have a flaw with it, just bring it up in the comment section. There is no sense of making an entire video that the only real problems you have is the guy can't act, the guy didn't write it down, or worst of all, he had a bad camera, or he did not edit the video. And I was like, I'm looking for content. I saw a video that was like 4 minutes long. This is before I found Gamer Rant. I just typed in gaming rants and clicked on newest. And this kid was ranting on something about Nintendo. I knew nothing about Nintendo because I don't own the console. But he was bringing up some good points. The problem is he was stuttering. He had, music playing through his computer. It was completely unscripted. And if he wanted to do all this stuff, it's like, just get, like, the basic things it's like, write down your thoughts. Get a decent editing software and get a good mic and just do it through that way. And if that was the only things I really had a problem with, I don't think that really called for making the entire video, so I just left it in the comment section. Not a month later, he left me a comment on that comment. I think he PM'd me. It's like, I took what you said to heart. I'm going to save up for an editing software. I'm going to start writing my thoughts down. I'm trying to get a mic right now. I'm trying to get a headset. And I'm just going to take what you say. Sometimes criticism can just stay in the comment section if that's all you have. We could do videos on guys like Gem all the time, but they're, well, for a lack of a better term, giant fucknuts. But if it's just like some random kid who is just trying to get started, doing something else on the other part, and really the only major problem you have, and this is just my opinion, people would disagree with me most likely, and the only major problem you have is like tiny little nitpick deals. Bring it up in the comments.
Because it's a little bit like what I said to Shell about their commentary. They made one nitpick that I felt could have just been said in a comment.
Yeah.
But, I was just like, okay, besides that one nitpick, A, you need more funny, and B, you need an outro.
As Ryan would say, get good.
Yes, get good.
No offense.
I love you, Shell!
Show
No,
you
she
need to
doesn't.
get, show you, yeah, I don't.
Oh.
Just puts on the glasses, deal with it. Deal with it, Show. Deal with the pain. No one loves you except for your waifu who doesn't exist, huh?
No, she's in the
Look,
chat. She's in the chat.
I'm right here.
Oh yeah, that's right. One-shots.
Ooh, this is a good.
What exactly, like, when should one-shots be a thing? Because I notice sometimes people make them just, like
my first one.
I feel like one shots are kind of like the thing that you just make, like, you have like, a little bit of a want to like make a commentary, but you have a lack of material to do it, or there's only one little bit of criticism that you can give that is not much of it probably doesn't warrant a comment. Or warrants more than just a comment, but just like
I mostly
commentary.
liked one-shots, again, if they gave me a reason to actually watch the video. Like, what was it? When I did one-shots, they were the one-shots past 1 a.m., which, what was it? The only reason that I really continued making those was because there was a gimmick to it.
Here's my feel on the whole entire deal. I think one shot is derived just strictly from the name alone. It's really just you bringing up one point and why. And like, let's say I don't know, Loudon's one shot on Kerry Grissom. His was basically just like the entire point of the video was the kid was just acting like Gohan the entire time. And no, I'm not going to bring him up anymore, so don't worry about it. So he basically said, it's like, don't act like this when making a video. And that's all he had. If you only have one thing to say, that's a one shot. But then there are situations like, I don't know, multi-shots, which is like you have multiple things in somebody's video that you want to bring up, but it's really not enough to make a thing. Or in my situation, the little gimmick I made, which is things they missed, which is basically, I agreed with every single thing they said. I could not find any other points to bring up that they did, but goddamn did you miss a few jokes that you really should have grabbed. And that's one of the things. And I think that also goes to something else too. Find a niche. Find something that is yours. One of the worst things to do is try to have your fingers in every single pie. I'm humor-based. I love video games. I love talking about social norms and all that stuff. I love talking about cartoons. I love like tearing apart crappy arguments in a review. But I know what I'm good at talking about. And I know what I'm terrible at talking about. I could talk about the ethics in video games any day. Extremists in video games any day. But if you stick a top 10, I think Scarlett knows where I'm going. If you stick a top 10 of top 10 yanderes in anime, I will give you nothing. Because I have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah, I'm probably one of the pickiest people to find material. Like
it's the same with me too. I mean, if you're gonna give,
that's why I barely take requests.
Yeah, I barely take requests myself. I actually got a request from somebody today, and they were talking about the video in question was about a woman that was upset about the whole gay marriage being legalized thing, and I'm just like, okay, this woman is obviously going to start talking about religion, and it's obviously going to be an easy target. So I just said, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to take this critique. I'm not going to actually take this material because, like, critique I'm going to take, but material that kind of material, like where it's an easy target and it's religion, and it's something that, you know, is a touchy subject, I do not touch. Or if it's a topic that I just do not know or care about, like I'm sorry for saying this, but if someone were to come to me and start asking me about wrestling, I would give them nothing.
I fully understand, and it makes complete sense. I don't know the gimmicks, I don't know the cliches, I don't know the statements, I don't follow everybody. So the number one thing that could really ruin me is jumping into something I don't fully understand, I can't fully grasp, or I'm still new to.
That's something with me. I've never been able, like, I remember the first thing I said when I first, like, the first big name, or someone who's way more popular than me, commentator I ever met, was I was a Manga Dial fan, and literally the first thing I said was, I don't get the issue with multi-degrees. Like, because, I don't know, I've always been able to do better whenever I'm tearing up somebody else's commentary than I am when just tearing apart an original video. I'm more better being the defendant to an extent than I am being the, you know...
Does that mean that you're going to be a lawyer?
Yes.
Are you just confirming another devil's quote here? Are you plugging your shit right now, man?
Yes.
Don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe.
Keep your shameless plugs to yourself.
Hey guys, I want you all to go watch the next episode of Devil's Court whenever I release it, which will probably be next year. 2016 PS4, yeah!
And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
There's another thing too. That everybody wants to have a bigger fan base. Everybody wants to have growth. They want to have more people see their content. Everybody wants that.
No, you don't. It's the worst thing ever.
No. You know what I mean, though. You know what I mean.
I know.
But I think going back to, I know Hobbs is going to kill.
Just going back to what you said before. Don't do it for the popularity. Do it because you like it. Do it because you love doing it. Do it because you have fun doing it. Just put that in a nutshell, and just like you could just still get away with saying that.
But even then, you know, you could still. It's just like, even then, people still have the desire to get.
Even here's the thing, though: if you have the desire to become popular, that's like, you know, something that is...
Don't make it your main drive is what I'm saying.
Yeah, don't make it your main drive. If it's your main drive, then you're going to end up like Mario Nama.
I think a better example is something that Hobbs will most likely kill me whenever he hears this part, is Hodge. I watched that entire final commentary on Hodge, and it just made everything make sense. The last thing you should do is try to whore out the system to make yourself better. And it's definitely a pitfall. It's something every single person on YouTube falls into. I'm a fan of Let's Players, mainly because I rarely have the time to play games anymore. I got a full-time job. I'm considering this like a part-time job. I got another hobby I consider like a part-time job. I am so busy that it's hard for me to just have the 5 minutes to play video games. Scarlett knows.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to that situation, I always notice something. Even PewDiePie, and people will just destroy and wreck him. But the number one thing is he's never lost that love for what he does. He's never lost that interest. If he lost that love, he lost that interest. He made 7 million last year. I don't think he needs to make videos anymore for the rest of his life, or at least for the next 20 years. He's doing it because he loves this. Here's another thing for new commentators. You will always find somebody that is like a leg better than you. Maybe a little bit, maybe a lot. The number one thing you should never do as a new commentator, and this is something I still struggle with, and I think everybody here would agree, don't beat yourself up.
Exactly.
Don't
this is something
ever
that I
beat
actually
yourself
struggle with. This is something that I actually struggle with as an artist. Like, I have a bunch of artists that I follow on DeviantArt that I absolutely adore looking at. Bleedman, freaking Vivzy Pop. I look at those two, and those two are like the reason why I keep going for my artwork. The reason why I keep writing my stories and why I keep drawing my characters and things like that. But at the same time, there are just some days where my depression will kick in, and I'm just having that day, and I look at them, and it just does not really, make me feel better. In fact, it just makes me beat myself up, and it's just making me think like, oh, I'm not going to reach that level of, I'm not going to get that level of detail in so and so, or I'm not going to get that vibrant in color like Vivzy can. But the thing is, like, at the end of the day, you can't expect yourself to be, perfect. It's like I said in the video that Loudon and I did. Expecting perfection from yourself is what's going to kill you. You can't strive to be perfect. You have to strive to be better. You can't strive to be perfect.
I want to say I totally relate with I totally relate with your story, honey. I totally relate. I told you about it a few times when we were on the bus to go get shoot. But no, I'm joking. But what was it? There were 3 different areas where I struggle with that. I suck at art. And I've never liked that and my artist who draws my avatars, oh my gosh, I get jealous of her way too often. Like, what is it? It's like, gosh darn it, Larry, you're better at art than me. Gosh darn it, Larry, you're better at singing than me. Stop it. But the biggest example. Now, just set up this scenario. Me being someone who loves editing. I absolutely adore to edit. It's probably one of my favorite times. It's one of my favorite processes in making the video, outside of just writing it. Writing it is pretty. I love writing everything together, but the editing is my favorite part. That's when everything comes together. That's why I love just putting effects in there. Now imagine what happens when people like Ski Hound and Mrs. Sir Raven come in, and God. They keep constantly editing better than me, and it makes me pissed off.
See, I dealt with the same thing. Okay, my recent video with Realm, what is it? I dealt with 2 weeks of me beating myself up on my editing skills. Now, again, I'm calling myself out on this. I was full of crap whenever I did this. What was it? I found quote last week. I found quote commentaries last week, and the first thing that went through my mind is, and it's official, I've been one-upped by somebody who has the same amount of subscribers as me, who's been making videos the same amount of time as me. It's like his videos are just, compared to mine, are godlike. And I was like, oh God, from the quotes to the jokes to the statements to the editing, it just like, I just got trashed. And then I saw Scarlet and Blaze's side of the video. They showed it to us. We were waiting until we could get him released around the same time. Luckily, whenever I was done with editing, it was around the same time. It was like 2 hours after you officially released it.
Yeah.
Which was creepy. Some people are calling suspect on that one, I swear. But I saw their video, and the first thing that went through my mind is I didn't even get to editing yet. I haven't gotten to the actual video editing. I was still in audio editing because I was waiting for Hobbs' line, like always. Yeah. I love you, Hobbs. But the thing that went through my mind is like it was not the first. It's like for a tiny bit, for a short tiny bit, I beat myself up, and I still kick myself in the ass for it. But then the next thing happened. The first thing that went through my mind is I not only have to one up it just for fun, not for spite, but I need to get better myself. Don't treat these moments like, it's like, I guess I'll just never get better, and just like stop. Because that's what happened to me. I wanted to be a musician in high school. And then I kept on watching my favorite artists just get better and better and better, and I was still going slow. I lied to myself to the point where even to this day, I consider myself at least a competent hobbyist. But I know full well I will never be a musician of a fullest caliber. Because I kept beating myself up and telling myself I'm not creative. I never tried writing a song. I never tried making a melody. I never tried writing down lyrics. And that was my downfall. Don't take these moments as, I'm just gonna call it a day, guys. No. I actually had that around the time of the Gamer Rant video. I know I'm going on a tangent here and I'm going on this whole entire deal, but I remember around the Gamer Rant videos, I had a one-shot that was taken down, which I will not be re-uploading because it's kind of redundant now. I've said what he said. The guy actually listened, and we're all cool. And then the same day, Gamer Rant sent that, he sent his fans over through his Twitter. They instantly disliked it, and he started trash talking me in my comments. I literally, for about a week, I think you remember this, Scarlett, where I was actually debating on quitting.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And that was...
I remember, and I was just telling like, no, dude, you just started!
Exactly. And it's... Don't treat these moments as, oh, I will never get good, or I will never progress, because you just started. And I know
in a nutshell, you mean believe in yourself. You can do it.
No. Yeah, just
do it.
Do it.
Believe in yourself.
I was just thinking about this, and what about? I want to start a topic on the about commentators who have Patreons, aka me.
Quite frankly, I really personally do not care whether a person has Patreon or not, because I'm not spending money on them.
Let me say it like this. I remember one time, I'm not naming a name, but I was told that just because I was a commentator, me getting a Patreon was dumb.
Oh, that's stupid.
Because my material is, my videos are based off of another person's are based off another person's material or something like that. It's like at the end of the day, what is it? Because he also brought up that commentaries aren't as high in production values as what he was doing. I hate the idea that just because you're in a certain field of videos, especially commentaries, because commentaries has gotten more production heavy-ish. People have been trying new things, getting more stuff. Mm-hmm. Excluding them from having a Patreon because they're in a specific, because they're a commentator or something like that is rather silly, because you also have to take into consideration you're not making money from your videos, you're making money for your videos. That's all Patreon is, making money for your videos.
I think
exactly.
I think another good analogy, I think it was Okizuma. He said to me best, it's not really something of, whenever, especially at no tarnishing here or saying anything, we're not at the highest peak and valleys of YouTube. We're at the low spectrum. At this point, it's more like a tip jar. It's like motivation to keep going. If not anything, it's like, keep doing it. I believe in you. You could do it. Here's some money. Maybe get yourself something nice. And on the editing spectrum honestly, if you compare stuff from 2011 to 2015, screw it, 2013, editing has gotten mad crazy ever since then. I honestly have always told myself, I would never start a Patreon even as low as I am right now. If anything, if I ever did, it'd be like somebody says, if you start a Patreon, I'll totally give you money. And even if it's like that situation, I would use that money specifically for improving my equipment or my skills.
Yeah.
What was it? It's even something as cheap as getting a new desk, so I don't have to worry about things falling on top of each other, ruining my chances of making videos. All the way down to if I'm making mad Jim Sterling money in this situation, making $12,000 a month. I would get a new computer. I would get an entire office. I would do stuff like that. Oh, is it one of the things I'm going to be saving up for this next for the rest of this year, mostly until tax season, and try to take care of my personal stuff first, is a year subscription to and this is not a plug or anything stupid. We're not being supported on this. I just think it's a good website. I think everybody should know. Lynda.com. Lynda.com is a website that literally is non-tuition based, non-college based education programs for programs like Adobe Premiere, Sony Vegas, After Effects, anything that involves editing, business, or stuff like that. And it's all that went through my mind is, if I can get a year of that, not only would my production value skyrocket, but I'll grow as a person in the process. And because of this, it helped me improve that thought. And for the whole entire, it's your quality is nobody cares about this. It's your quality's crap on this. What is it? Game Theory. His first videos were edited on Windows Movie Maker. And those videos are still being watched to this day.
Yeah, my videos are actually edited on Windows Movie Maker.
And it's not,
dun, dun, dun!
And it's not because of, it's the editing or all that stuff. It was the content that drew people in there. It's because of those videos we learned it was an aileron roll and not a barrel roll, and we learned the fact that both would not help you in a firefight. It's stuff like that it's the content, not the editing. If I have to go off on the tangent on that as well. And while editing I feel is important because I'm having a lot of fun doing that myself, and you guys see my visual jokes, it's stupid as hell.
Yeah.
It has to be the content with it. And Ryan, you get that even balance. Not here to kiss your ass, but you get that even balance right there of editing and content. You make sure that people know what you're talking about, but if you're having a joke, you're taking full advantage of that time. What is it? Whenever you're just making a point, you never try to go like absolutely super crazy on your editing. You always make it basic and simple. But whenever it's like it's a joke, you're taking advantage of the skills you've gained in this process. So the whole entire nitpick of oh, it's your editing, it's like you don't deserve your Patreon money. It's stupid.
For the record, during that entire situation, I feel like there were ovens in my cheeks just for a second.
Any final thoughts and anything you want to say to new commentators, returning commentators, veteran commentators, or anything like that before we call this a day? And anybody want to try to make up a voice for Hobbs that we're going to force him to say?
Yes.
I got a voice for Hobbs.
Okay, I'll give Scarlett. Let me say something first.
Let Scarlett go last.
Okay.
Yeah,
let
let me go last.
the Hobbs voice go.
Again, I'd still like to say that 2015 is probably so far one of the best, if not the best year for commentaries. I for newcomers, basically, just keep going. Don't just give up unless you actually just don't want to do it anymore.
Yes.
It's just like basically we're basically sort of past the experimental stage of commentaries, and we've gotten to quite a bit of a peak. Not as much as we could be. It's just like. But, I don't think, as long as we all work, new people, old, veterans, etc., all work together in the cooperative manner that we've been going on for the last while, we can easily avoid another crash. Or at least if stuff goes down, it won't be 2012, 2013 levels of bad.
Remember, it's only one guy trying to keep the entire idea alive.
Yeah, and I think we're in a pretty good state. I don't think anything majorly bad is going to happen anytime soon. As long as everything brought up in here is kept in mind.
For me, I would have to say, as a newcomer, and this basically with my entire perspective, that's why I was very quiet at the beginning of the video, because it was very historic, and I don't know anything about it. Again, I just got into the community completely in April. As a new guy looking outside in, for the newcomers, keep going, as like Ryan said, keep going. This is just the beginning, we're just halfway through this year. This year's not even over. 2016 could be better. I'm not going to make any predictions, but it could be better. Study, research, do whatever you can to improve. Even if it's like small criticism, what is it? My Gamer Rant video. I screwed up on the editing. So what did I do? I learned from that mistake and I moved on. I don't dwell on it, but I remember it. Just learn from your mistakes, learn from the past, listen to people, even if it's the dumbest thing. You will always know if it's the dumbest thing, trust me. If it's just you suck, you ask, and they just say it's because you suck, ignore them. But if they say you suck, and then you ask, and they actually give you a reason, try to think of it and try to understand what is actual criticism and what is not. For the vets, I can't, again, it all depends on if you guys are going to listen to me or not. Keep an open ear, keep an open eye, be accepting of new ideas and different landscapes and different ways of doing things. Don't
be old people.
Hey, don't be old people. Don't say get off my lawn. If you start saying get off my lawn, prepare for at least 15 people behind you saying, oh, really? Your lawn. It's everybody's lawn. You're in a park, Grandpa. And you'll be called out for that stuff. Don't be afraid to accept new ideas. You don't have to go into complete lengths like TOG or Scarlet or Hobbs. You don't have to take somebody under your wing. You could keep an eye on them and like give general advice. Like, it's like you could have done something better in there. There was something lacking. I can't really put my thumb on it, but just keep an eye on it. And for people coming back is study up. Study up now, because the game has changed completely from the early years. Especially if you're like returning from 2011, 2012. If you're returning from then, the game has completely changed. It is more entertainment based, more comedic based. It's still critical, like always. It is commentary after all. It's heavily based on both audio, but visual jokes as well. And just do that. But out of that, I'd say just I think the general advice, I think, is what we already said. Have fun. This becomes completely pointless whenever you stop having fun.
Yeah, and don't screw up or I'll kill you.
And I only have $7.
If you screw up, you're gonna have to answer to the cannon. Sorry.
Okay, so Scarlet, and then Hobbs, and then we're done.
Okay, so for my advice, or at least my final thoughts to the newcomers, don't at least beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up when you see a commentator doing something and then you think, oh my gosh, I'll never get to that level. Just don't think that, because trust me, that is exactly what is going to kill you.
It's a pitfall.
But also do not get yourself overconfident or at least overly cocky to the point where you will not listen to anybody. That is another pitfall right there. You gotta at least balance yourself to a point where you're not doubting yourself, but you're being humble at the same time.
Yes.
And I know that that's difficult, but at the same time, it's something that is not impossible to do. For veterans, though, for the people that actually decide to come back, I mean, I don't know what your opinions are of anything about the commentary community as of now, if you even bothered to look. If you have bothered to look and you're thinking maybe you might want a piece of the fun that's kind of going on, you're more than welcome. Nobody is actually going to, backlash you for, that kind of stuff, like, what happened in 2012 with me when I first started out. When I came back, I was welcomed with open arms, and I felt more accepted, and I got over my depression a little bit more. I still suffer from depression, but at the same time, it's something that I fight all the time, because, I can't dwell in it to the point where it consumes me. If I do, and I let it consume me, I'm not going to last long. And that was something that I had to kind of get over after what happened in 2012, because frankly, I actually did have a lot more bad spells after, all that. But, since the game has changed and things are a lot more welcoming, and they're a lot more friendly, and they're a lot more, it's a lot more fun. It's a great change, and I feel a lot. I feel actually, part of a group. I actually feel part of a community now, rather than just, a dispersed kind of blob of what it was supposed to be.
That you're just there.
Yeah, that I'm just there. So now, if you feel like coming back now, don't expect to actually get any backlash. Expect to be welcomed with open arms.
Yes.
Expect hugs. I will give all of you hugs. Scarlet, I will give you a hug.
Except Gem. Yeah.
Except Gem.
Except
Gem, you need to stay retired. Let's face it. It was just not for you.
Forever.
It was. Sometimes it's not for everybody, and if you don't feel like coming back, that's fine. But for those who feel like they want to come back because they miss some of the good times that were actually had in this community,
then you can have
don't hesitate. Yeah, you can have it. Don't hesitate.
Yeah,
come back. See what happens.
If you don't mind me interjecting one more final thought for myself, and I apologize for this. There was one statement from the hobby I will, again, not divulge until I'm ready to divulge on it. There was one statement that was ingrained in my head, usually behind people's back, that really shouldn't have been there. there are people who deserve to be on stage, and then there are people who there are people who should be on stage, and there should be people in the seats. Sometimes this is not for everyone. Don't beat yourself up if that's not the case. You'll most likely find something else in your life that is for you. No, it's not like a deep cynical statement. It's just, don't be afraid to try it. But if you realize it's either A, you're not your thing to do, but you love watching, or it's B, just like you feel, it's like you just know, and it's like you're a great person, but you just know that it's like, I'm not good at this. It's supporting people while watching this is not the worst thing in the world. It doesn't mean like, oh, because you're bad, you should stay away from the community, you should never watch videos. It's more of, I'm trying to be nice enough to say this, is supporting the community is not just being in the community. It's watching the community, interacting with the community outside of videos. The community is not just us. It's not just creators. It's the viewers. It's the watchers. It's the people that listen. Because without you guys, we would be nothing. This would be a pointless conversation between three people and a ghost, and we would be
three people and a dead guy in a chair.
A dead guy in a chair, and basically it'd be like us looking back to, man, I remember that chat. That was a fun chat. No, this is generally a communication that is expanding the world, or the Americans, and it helps.
Or people that actually that speak English.
Or Japanese that are trying to learn English through Ryan's videos.
Maybe.
Is that like a reverse weeaboo?
Yes.
I learned my English through Ryan commentaries.
It's an Ameriboo. As an active ventriloquist or voodoo, Hobbs has some final lines. Scarlett?
Okay, let me just get behind his dead body real fast.
Okay, I'm gonna do
Let me put my hand through his neck and then just make his mouth kind of. Okay, there we go.
Whoa, 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 whoa! There we go. That was my chant.
You gentlemen ready?
Yes.
All right. I'm Young Fantasy 91. New people in the community, believe in yourself. Believe it. All the people in the community that kind of want to come back, don't be old people. This is Young Fantasy 91, and I'll see you on the brighter later.
Single tear comes to the eye, getting out of chair, constant clapping.
Beautiful.
Thank you. I'll be here all week.
And this is B.O.P Roundtable. You guys have fun.
Ba-da-bop, ba-da-bop, wop. Ba-da-bop, wop. Ba-da-bop, wop. Ba-da-bop.